Things are heating up for the Detroit Red Wings in an extraordinary way. Not only did the Wings come out on top yesterday in the most important game of the year versus the Buffalo Sabres, but we also had some amazing commentary posted about this team by this team, courtesy of Nicholas J. Kotsonika on NHL.com. The Red Wings have spoken out about their playoff hunt, and it's a very insightful look for Red Wings fans and folks who want to see this Eastern playoff race go down. I'm going to leave a link in the description of this article. The Red Wings are in crunch time with their playoff spot on the line. The article is kind of interesting because it was posted before the Red Wings played off against the Sabres, before the Red Wings defeated the Buffalo Sabres, and before the Red Wings put themselves 1 point back of the final wildcard spot. They have 86 points in 72 games. They are tied with Ottawa. The New York Islanders have the final wild card with 87 points in 73 games. Meanwhile, the Boston Bruins have 88 points in 72 games. The Isles have one more game played than everybody in this race. And that includes some of the folks here in the Metro. Metro Boomin', the Pittsburgh Penguins have 88 points in 72 games. The Blue Jackets have 87 points in 72. So, this is extraordinarily tight. The Wings stealing 2 points in regulation from the 96-point Buffalo Sabres was quite the miracle. And if they had not won this game, who knows how far back their playoff odds would have been. Courtesy of MoneyPuck.com, had the Detroit Red Wings lost that game versus Buffalo in regulation, their playoff odds dipped to 36%. But they did win. They're up to 60.7% now, which, oddly enough, is probably inaccurate. I don't know. It says that it's more likely the Wings make the playoffs than not. If you head over to the playoff odds chart, okay, there you go. It says 50.7% right now. We'll see what happens. It's a coin flip. But with that said, I wanted to go over to this article posted onto NHL.com by Nicholas Kotsonika, diving into some of the Red Wings and the comments that they made about this current playoff rush. This is a defining moment for the Detroit Red Wings. Each of the past 2 seasons, they have faded down the stretch and missed the Stanley Cup Playoffs. This is supposed to be a different group that'll write its own story, but the same old story is playing out. They now have 10 games to change the narrative after they defeated the Buffalo Sabres on Friday. Will they author a happy ending this time, or extend their playoff drought, already the longest in their 100-year history, to 10 seasons? This is what Moritz Seider had to say. Obviously, we have been in that situation before. We know how much it can stink. We better come up with an answer before that. It's all on us right now. It doesn't matter who we play. We need points. Yes, we want to play well, but sometimes we need a gritty one to just get going. In 2023-2024, Detroit was 33-20-6 on February 28th. The Wings held the first wild card and were 8 points ahead of the first team below the cut line, the New Jersey Devils. They went 8-12-3 the rest of the way, tying the Capitals with 91 points, but the Caps earned the second wild card due to the regulation wins tiebreaker. Last year, Detroit was 30-22-6 on February 26. The Wings held the first wild card and were 4 points ahead of the first team below the cut line, the New York Rangers. They went 9-13-2 the rest of the way, finishing with 86 points, 5 behind the Habs, who earned the second wild card in the East. This season, missing the playoffs would be even more painful. They were 32-16-5 on January 25th, tied with the Hurricanes for first in the East. Not the first wild card, first place, and 10 points ahead of the first team below the cut line, the Panthers. They have gone 6-9-3 since. Ay. You talk about the Detroit Red Wings and the March collapses. This would be one for the ages if it were to play out that way. In that span, since that marker of January 25th, the Red Wings ranked 28th in NHL points percentage. Though they are 11th in goals against per game in that stretch, they are 31st in goals per game, 29th on the power play, and tied with the Canucks for 28th on the penalty kill. Yikes. When you label it out like that, it really articulates just how bollocks bad the Detroit Red Wings have been the past few weeks. With that said, let's go out there and read what Todd McLellan had to say about the status quo of how everything is at the moment. You could feel it a little bit. The tension, McLellan said. We've got to get over that. There's going to be bad things that happen to our team, and we've got to recover. We've shown the ability to do that throughout the year. But now, in crunch time, can we maintain that resilience? It's getting tested, and it's going to keep getting tested. They fell behind 3-0 in that game against Ottawa. That was a crazy, crazy moment. Those are moments we have to handle better, McLellan said. We just have to. Captain Dylan Larkin returned after missing 7 games with an LBI, and he had scored on the power play to make it 3-2. But McLellan said that Larkin's return against Ottawa might have set Detroit back instead of providing a lift. Because the others were like, okay, we got our leader back, we got our captain back, we can take a little bit of a breath. The guys are mad, Larkin said. That was a big game for our hockey team. Seider said if we're not upset with ourselves, we're doing something wrong. McLellan said the Red Wings were sluggish and tight against the Senators. They must find the right balance. And fast. We've got to play loose and free, but we've got to play with details, McLellan said. We've got to play with awareness. We've got to be connected. All that cliche stuff that coaches say, but it is true at this time of the year. We have to be excited about the opportunity at success and not anxious about the fear of failure. Sometimes that gets in the way a little bit, but we'll figure it out. We are going to get through it. Man, leadership definitely is not lacking in the Detroit Red Wings on the ice and off the ice. Commentary from Seider, Larkin, McLellan talking about how this team cannot accept just taking the foot off the gas pedal. They have to go out there and put pedal to the metal. They backed it up against the Buffalo Sabres. They were able to get the 2 points. They were able to bring themselves 1 point back at the wild card. Now, the question is, can they do it again? Now, the Detroit Red Wings, their next game is against the Philadelphia Flyers. It is later tonight, so we'll take a look at what happens with Philly and their entire situation over here. They've got some guys that are really hot lately. Noah Cates, I'm going to say Owen Tippett. You can always rely on him to get a clutch goal or two. Even Christian Dvorak has gone out there and scored some pretty meaningful points. Alex DeBrincat, for my sake, please continue scoring as many points as you can. Last 5 games, he's a double point per game player. Very helpful for me in my fantasy league. I'm in the semifinals still, and we cannot take our foot off the gas pedal. I will say as well, I have Alex Lyon on my team too, so this game was not really all too great from my perspective. Yes, it was great from a fandom point of view, but going out there and seeing Alex Lyon let in 7-8-9, have a 7-8-9 save percentage, obviously, that's not ideal. I mean, yeah. We can see the Red Wings get wins, that's probably more important, but I'm speaking very selfishly here. With that said, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about the Detroit Red Wings and their crunch time comments. Todd McLellan, Moritz Seider, Dylan Larkin all speaking out about the status quo of the team, especially in this moment where the going is going tough. Thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Sign on. And bye.